Alright everybody, welcome back to We Play Games. I'm Walker, and here we are in Victoria 3 about to finish up the Liberty or Death campaign. So we're playing with Haiti, and we are going to be banning slavery in the world. In this case, just because we are almost at 1.3, I think what we're going to do is ban slave trade. There will be a couple of areas where debt slavery will survive, but we'll pretend like in the final decade of the game that we wiped it out. At the moment, there is a diplo play against Bahrain that Germany is trying to execute, where they're trying to turn them into a subject. In this case, our infamy is so low that I actually don't care about just doing a direct conquest on them, but we do want to get this war done so that way Germany doesn't get control of Bahrain, because if they have control of Bahrain, then banning slavery there will be a little bit more complicated. And important to note that if we can conquer Bahrain, we can use that as a front to then puppet Nejd, and if we can puppet Nejd, we can use Nejd as a front to just invade basically anywhere. And this is the core territory here where the slave trade still exists. Russia wishes to enter into a trade agreement with us. I mean, I guess I'm okay doing that. We'll see if Russia turns on us, but there isn't any more slavery in the Russian market, so I'm not afraid of them. We might, instead of invading Nejd, we might actually just go ahead and buy their debt, because if we buy their debt, we'll have an obligation, then we might be able to pull Nejd into a war against France, because Jabal Shamar does have slave trade here, so it's a little tough to get there, but we are now at the point where we're just going to be pressing out some military techs. We want NCO training and military aviation. Actually, we probably just want these immediately. A military advantage over a great power is a pretty big deal. Alright, so war with Bahrain has broken out. We'll go ahead and just launch a naval invasion. And if we can take it, then we should be able to get the land instead of Germany here. Oh no, the dude we were naval invading died. He just died in route. I guess we'll naval invade with somebody else. Egypt refused to become the protectorate of Bengal. That's interesting. Yeah, this independent India here is going to be pretty strong. They're already a major power. We are making prestige a little harder for some of these nations, but I doubt we're going to be able to get the United States out of great power status. They've got just a lot of military strength around. We are way ahead of everybody else now. Our prestige is considerably ahead of Germany, as well as our GDP. We are the #1 GDP in the world now. Alright, so he seized control of Bahrain. I think this is going to be a great deal for us. Hopefully they don't capitulate to the Germans. Once slavery is done in France, we'll end our alliance with the US, because I think being able to mop up here should be pretty easy even without the US assistance. Oh, baby. Alright, so Bahrain folded. Oh, if we go to ban slavery against Jabal Shamar, it'll actually pull Nejd in on the side of France. But you know what? That's good enough for me. Oh, Nejd abandoned their support of France. Well, actually, we have a sway that we could use to potentially pull them in. All right, yeah, if we call in the obligation on Nejd, we pull them into the war. That gets us a border, and then everything else we can actually just like naval invade. Like if we naval invade Liège and just annex it, we can use that as a border to get to Cosmopolitan State. Russia sided with France at the very last minute. Rude, Russia. You even signed a trade agreement with us. Extremely rude. You know, at least we have this Chinese ally. We will never turn on Great Qing, at least not so far as they don't have slavery in their market. We are going to struggle pretty hard to advance where there are troops right now, just due to the distribution on stats. You can check that just by looking at any given battle, but like our offense stats are way lower than their defense. Same with their offense versus our defense. So making any sort of breakthrough here is going to rely on just enormous advantages in numbers, or just on the opponent not fielding troops on a specific front. That is also I don't know about valid, but it is certainly a way to get there. All right, so we got a nice little upgrade here. We discovered some oil in the Trucial Coast. That means that we can get some really big economy going. Whoa, France is just getting slaughtered in battle. 265,000 troops have died in battle so far to defend slavery in Jabal Shamar. France, you crazy. I think I'm going to try to just knock Russia out of the war by launching a naval invasion of Ingria over here. And we're going to go ahead and start damaging relations with the United States. Our relations will collapse once we've ended the alliance. Might even make sense to do it just now, but I think we're gonna have to end our trade agreement too. Sorry, US, you were a really fun ally for a very long time. I hope you know that. All right, our troops have landed in Ingria. Should make it pretty easy for us to get Russia out of this. It's like Russia is the only nation currently not willing to take this peace deal, so hopefully by occupying St. Petersburg, we are going to speed this war up. NCO training in military aviation might be overkill, but there's certain tech levels where based off of the unit stats that you get on the barracks, it can be really good to be on the offense. Like skirmish, for instance, is 30 and 35, whereas line infantry is 20-30 and irregular is 10-15. And so it's pretty easy to make rapid progress against people with irregular and line infantry if you have skirmish infantry. But trench infantry at 40 offense is only marginally stronger than skirmish infantry on defense. And so it can be pretty difficult to chew through anyone with skirmish infantry or higher. Unfortunately for Russia, that does not apply to them. They are running line infantry at this point. All right, France and Russia are out. There we go. So let's go ahead and ban slavery in Hejaz. Now this is going to necessitate a war with Egypt, and now we are down our American ally, just so that way we can, get slavery done there. But we'll throw war reps in here just to hopefully encourage the AI to back down. Russia sided with Egypt again. Russia, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? The US will join if we offer a humiliate Russia, and I'm okay doing a humiliate Russia here. I think it would be good. Whatever, we'll force Russia to liberate Siberia. If we can naval invade St. Petersburg, which we can, then we can enforce a liberate wherever. Let's fight Russia one last time with an assistance of the United States. We are hurting our relationship now, so we are going to get down to the point where we can attack them, because we unfortunately have to. But this should be a pretty easy way for us to send off slavery in Hejaz. Oh my god, we're up to 100 legitimacy again. I mean, we could reform the parties and actually bring the folks in who should be here. Like, the industrialists should nominally be up here with the intelligentsia, but I'll take a righteous government. That's good enough for me. But graduated taxation is still, even now, producing lower tax revenue for us. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's still not a good thing to go into, because by going into graduated taxation, we will shift the income tax rate down and the dividend tax rate up, which means that highly profitable buildings will generate lots of extra money. But more importantly, dividends are the things that go to the rich pops and therefore empower them to create investment pool. Given that we really have never been able to keep investment pool positive, and we're getting a giant amount of investment pool transfer right now, 1.08 million investment pool transfer versus 7 million revenue, basically, it means like an eighth of our total budget is coming from IP right now. It could be better if we had access to more raw resources, but with the way the AI currently works, it doesn't prioritize getting raw resources particularly well. And that means that if you want to make a lot of money on graduated taxation, you kind of need to conquer where the resources are. Like here, Transvaal, this is a 48.1 productivity coal mine, and they are building 3 more, but they're only building 3 more. So they are getting there, but they're getting there very, very slowly. Whereas they could just make outrageous amounts of money just building that instead of like an art academy or a tooling workshop. Yep, gonna send the Russian fleet to the bottom of the Baltic once more. I would feel bad for calling the United States into this war, but we didn't even really offer them anything, just offered them the opportunity to humiliate Russia, and they took the bait, so that seems like a skill issue on their part. Oh my god, Ethiopia formed. I can't believe it. I also kind of honestly can't believe how much trade we're actually doing and how much transportation we need in terms of convoys. I thought for sure that once we hit both Sinai and Panama being open that we would never have issues with convoys ever again, but that is not true. A lot of our trade routes really are maxed out. Well, it looks like Egypt is about to capitulate, which should let us move troops over to fight Russia. But I just remembered that we haven't actually banned slavery in the Spanish Philippines yet. So we actually have 2 real wars left. We have to fight the US for Tunis and Oman, and we have to fight Spain for the Spanish Philippines. Spain for the Spanish Philippines might be annoying depending on who they can bring in as an ally. The Russians really are trying to fight this out. Yeah, they're also going to lose hundreds of thousands in this war. Meanwhile, our population is starting to go asymptotic. It looks like the curve on our population is basically the curve on our GDP now. Russia is willing to throw in the towel, but Mexico is not willing to let us go here. Oh my god, now all of our really, really productive trade routes, every single one of them is just a massive import on raw resources. Looks like our highest non-raw resource thing is buying guns and small arms from Germany, but all the rest of the stuff is just buying lead, buying iron. That's going to make going to war with the United States actually kind of annoying fine. They represent so much of our raw resources at this point. Sometimes you make sacrifices in the name of freedom. That's what Haiti is going to tell themselves here, at least. We're going to go ahead and pass poor laws. We do have 2.73 million unemployed, and we're only running medium taxes right now and are running a positive budget of 840k, so I think a level 1 social security here isn't going to explode our economy. But this is something that you do need to be aware of. Like, if you have too many unemployed because you've run out of raw resources and therefore are hitting an economic wall, passing any sort of social security can be really, really expensive. If you have something like this where you only have 2.73 million unemployed on 133 million incorporated pops, you can afford to pay the unemployed a little bit, and that in turn will increase demand, which in turn will increase the profitability of a lot of these buildings and therefore increase employment and therefore decrease your welfare costs. So it can be a nice positive loop. It just kind of depends on the current situation for your economy. All right, well, Russia has gone down for the count. I think now, before the United States is no longer cordial with us, we're going to go ahead and attack Spanish Philippines, ban some slavery there. Because if the US intervenes against us, we can beat them. I'm sure we can, but I don't want to fight them if we don't have to. And also, as just like short-term social security, we're going to go ahead and activate some conscripts in a couple areas where we just have lots of pops hanging around, because it gives them something to do. All right, Spain, are you going to back down? You see we are already conscripting people, right? Our army size is going to spike like crazy. With Germany having jumped in here, I feel like we can go ahead and activate a little more in terms of conscription. We just have plenty of pops hanging around, so I'm not too worried about it. And fortunately for us, they are starting to have input good shortages on their motorized infantry. That should give us a nice bump in our fighting power here. But I think along any of these fronts where we expect to be fighting a large number of German troops, I'm going to have our troops start on defense, get some nice casualties out against the Germans, and that also will build us a little bit of an advantage, and then we can switch into NCO training. Probably should have gone for military aviation before NCO training in this setup here, so that way we wouldn't have to get a training debuff in the middle of a war with Germany. But hey, World War I, right? Training debuffs were kind of a core part of the fight there. Yeah, we'll just bang them straight out of Patagonia and their colonial territories. But you know what we could switch over all of our conscripts over to NCO. I don't hate that. If you're attacking someone with trench infantry, you kind of need squad tactics. You can't get there otherwise. Oh my god, some of these armies are getting enormous. 288 units under control here. That's just one commander. Germany has just pulled out entirely. Oh my god, no wonder Germany pulled out of the war entirely. Holy crap. The German proletarian revolt is looking pretty spicy over there. I guess with the rapid collapse of Germany, it is time for us to take Spain off the board. Let's just naval invade them. And Spain just gave it up. So they must have read the writing on the wall and figured out that we were about to go hog wild on Germany. You know, in the interest of time, we'll just offer Germany a white peace if our allies are fine with it. Because we don't really need German war reps in order to be doing fine here. Because we're so close. We're so unbelievably close. The only areas that still have legal slave trade, Oman, Qasmid, Lahej, it looks like we need to damage our relation with Tunis in order to ban slavery here. No, maybe Tunis is getting slavery banned. That would be pretty cool. Let's just go ahead and annex Lahej. Like, this is a pretty easy one. Knock it out of the way, he says, and then a great power steps in. But if we can annex this without issue, then we can immediately attack Qasmid State using this as a border. And then the only thing left will be fighting the United States, which I would love to get this done right now. No, fascist Philippines is rising up to try to bring slavery back. Not on my watch. Unfortunately, it's a very small part of the Philippines that has risen up to try to reinstate slavery. We're going to go ahead and just start bankrolling the Philippines and Spain immediately to make sure that they feel like they have the resources to put this revolt down. They're going to be fighting with 30 units against 300. Spain should win this, he says, and then Spain screws it up and then we have to fight Spain a second time. You can see that our standard of living basically remained the same even when we went from very low or low taxes up to medium to high, because taxes really are not a big influence on your standard of living. It's mostly just how much money they make. That's why deflationary strategies are so bad. Like, you generally should not be trying to make your price of clothes 30%. That's an output for us because it's just an effect of us having built a lot of highly productive textile mills, but the price of the clothes being low isn't necessarily a good thing. It doesn't make our pops wealthier the way selling goods does. Lahej, how is it that you think you're gonna resist us here? We can make Poland into a protectorate. I do not hate it. Looks like this fascist Philippine revolt is gonna get put down. Good. Ooh, and the United Baltic provinces will actually become a protectorate if we just offer them an obligation. I'm willing to do that. Yeah, it looks like the German liberal revolt is gonna crush it. They are fighting against Russia and Germany, but this is a giant chunk of Germany that went with them. Of course, it's a lot of dead. Oh my god. And then there were 2. So let's go ahead and ban slavery here in Cosmoid State. If we can get them to just back down, then we can fight the US immediately, which would be pretty fun. France sided with Cosmoid State. Alright, France. I guess they wanted to make sure these last couple of wars were exciting, right? Yeah, that was it. But France is going to be fighting at a meaningful disadvantage here because they're going to be fighting with trench infantry, and we do now have the training debuff removed on basically all of our barracks now. We're going to be picking up a small debuff when we switch into military aviation, but that's going to be absolutely worth it. Huge upgrade in our military efficiency here. Alright, war with Cosmoid State has broken out. Alright, so we can now start building war machines. That is going to be a big shot in the arm for our troops. Part of what is making this end game a lot longer than I'd like is a known bug in 1.2. It takes the last little bit of the troops to run away in most battles way too long, like literal weeks. Alright, Cosmoid State has capitulated, so now it's just us and France. Would they take a white piece? They would take a white piece. Do I care if we get French war reps? Nah, I don't think we care if we get French war reps. Let's just piece France out, and then we will go ahead and fight our old friend, the United States. I tell you what, we're going to try to attack American Yemen here. We're going to do ban slavery in Tunis. We're also going to do liberate Oman. And then I'm going to hope that the US finds a way to bid Oman into this war. If they can pull them in, we'll ban slavery there. But if not, then I guess our last war will be against an independent Oman, and our second to last war will be our big dramatic showdown with the US. Ooh, Great Britain sided with the US. Alright, but important to note that in order for us to enforce liberate Oman, we are going to need to naval invade Washington, D.C. So we need to come up with a plan for how to do that. I think the plan is probably going to be to just convoy raid the AI until their ability to project power collapses, and then maybe the British just duck out of the war. Without the British, we can launch invasions of the United States pretty easily from here. Our navy is literally 4 times the size of the navy of the United States at this point. All right, war with the United States has broken out. Oh no, Siberia, Russia. Yeah, so our fleet that's trying to naval invade Washington, D.C. is going to make very short work of their navy, but I do think that we're going to need probably multiple naval invasions just to break through to D.C. Ooh, British war reps. All right, yeah, that's it. Sorry, U.S. Thanks for trying. Oh my god, what fresh hell is opening up in Scandinavia? Holy cow. It looks like General Anselmo Sosa is going to be able to actually make this naval invasion work, and it's because he's an expert offensive planner and flying war hero. So that's kind of what you need to break through the US border here. Once we've landed, then we can just flood conscripts in, and the war should end in quick succession after that. Alright, there it is. We've landed. Ooh, France and Germany are fighting a war? What are they fighting over? Zanzibar? Alright, that's cool. Oh, Mexico will become a protectorate if we offer them an obligation. Love to see it. It's not even necessary that we're making these guys into protectorates at this point. I just think it's fun. Alright, the US has collapsed. And that means that we can just click ban slavery on Oman and hopefully just send everybody over there. They'll definitely back down. No great powers will intervene, and we will have successfully banned slavery in the world, right? Oman is suffering an uprising against Persians at the same time. These guys don't have slavery, right? Oh no, they do have slave trade. Because I don't actually know if Oman has the strength necessary to defeat this Persian uprising, and I'm not 100% where they're going to go. If they are looking to just become annexed into Persia, then it's not like a really big deal. But if they're looking to found an independent tiny Persia with slavery, then like obviously that's no bueno. Oman, I worry for your sanity, friend. You are suffering a civil war, and there are literally 622 troops on your border. And all we're asking is you ban slavery. Oh no, Great Qing broke their alliance with us. I don't know, maybe it was just a long time coming. but they finally gave it up. They're still part of our customs union though, so I think we can probably survive. All right, let's go ahead and click ban slavery in Oman. Although now, unfortunately, there is this Persian uprising out here, so there is still slavery on the board. I want to see if Oman can finish this on its own though, so we are going to go ahead and bankroll them. Hopefully that gives them enough cash. And, you know, the fact that we're not beating the crap out of them anymore gives them the strength they need to capitulate the Persian uprising. There it is. Peace was indeed signed with the Persian uprising, and it looks like that signature has actually passed that territory in Laristan back to Persia itself, and given that we banned slavery in Persia before, that means that that is it. That's the end of the campaign, everybody. There are a couple of states that still have debt slavery, but given how unbelievably laggy it is at this point, I don't really think it would be valuable for us to play out the next 12 years. But it wouldn't be too difficult for us to ban slavery in a lot of these states in very rapid succession. A lot of this stuff is stuff that if the AI were backing down a little more consistently, we should be able to get these in very short order. And then we can get into Afghanistan if we were to invade Sistan here, take that from France. And then a lot of the stuff that's here in the UK that has slavery, we should be able to bang out if we just launch a naval invasion of London. And I know that we've been like talking about it, and I don't think we actually ever executed it, but that's this is what happens when you scroll in on London. It's pretty choppy. But they're only using monitors and escort frigates, so our fleets should be able to just like mulch theirs without too much issue. Run dreadnoughts and destroyers. I'm gonna call that the end of Liberty or Death here on We Play Games. Thanks for watching, and we will be moving back to doing more like Academy style stuff once 1.3 drops. I think 1.3 looks like it's going to make a lot of really healthy changes for the mechanics. I think that it'll really encourage gameplay like this, where you're trying to do international politics. I'm really looking forward to seeing how agitators play out, because they do look like a really fancy and fun way to use some flavor here in Victoria 3 to get some stuff done. I really do want to get into playing with 1.3. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully there's still working on improving performance in the mid to late game, because I would certainly appreciate it. All right, that's Walker. Take care.